This
really does make.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, one of the things that you really need to understand is, where does your authority come from? And it's not absolute. You're not a dictator as the chief executive officer, okay? It comes from the club as a whole. Understand the hierarchy in a club. The top is the club. Second down in the chain of command is the president, okay? So the club is actually the most authority. Next comes your club constitution and bylaws. Those are the rules by which you live by, okay? Now, most of the time a lot of clubs have the standard LCI club constitution. Everything in there doesn't have to be done, okay? It's a guide. Some things are mandatory, like having a president, a vice president, secretary, voting, and things like that. You can change them if you want, but the standard constitution is pretty good. Okay, the club board of directors comes next. This is like you're as the CEO. This is your board. They can actually make decisions for the club based on budgets, money, how it's going to be spent, and things like that, so that the club doesn't have to spend its time doing mundane work and maybe have more fun. If you don't have a board of directors, that's not a problem. My club doesn't, okay, or didn't while I was president. I let the club decide most of the matters, okay? So what is the board of directors? President, immediate past president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, 2-year, 1-year directors, chairperson, and membership chairperson. Now, the membership person is one of the ones that's voted on every year, right along with your presidents, your secretary, and your treasurer. These are the ones that can decide things for the club, outside of the club, so again, like, you don't get cut in mundane things. Okay, optional members are tail twisters, your line tamer, and club branch coordinator. Club branch coordinator is just somebody that might be from the district or from another area that's helping a new club get started. Okay, you're going to review and refer all new business appropriately, shape policy. Okay, understand this, the board of directors is doing this so that you don't have to involve the club in some of the mundane administrative things that needs to happen. Approve expenditures, arrange for audits, approve financial institution and bonding. A lot of clubs don't have bonding. Bonding is going to be there in case your treasurer is not a very good person and they decide to abscond with the club money. Bonded means you get the money back. Some clubs have it, some don't. Should always maintain 2 separate accounts. One's administrative, which is Lions money, and the other is activity money, which is public money. Those things that the public gives to the club goes back to the public. Administrative money is your dues, and maybe some gifts specifically given to the club in the form of money. Modify, overrule, or reside officer actions. So you have, let's say, your treasurer or your secretary or even your president does something that's not right, the board has the right to overrule them. All right, planning. Before your term begins, which is now for all of you new presidents, you should understand member motivation and the needs of the club, where they're going and what you're doing. I mean, if you don't understand that, it's going to be hard to be a leader and lead the club in the direction that it needs to go. Review club officers' team manual. Participate in district events, conventions, and meetings. You learn a lot. If you haven't been to the district convention, which we didn't have this year due to COVID-19. It's a hoot. It's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people, you learn a lot of things, and it's just an awful lot of fun. District events, whether it be training or gatherings. I know the current, or the soon-to-be new district governor is going to want to have some type of a district gathering as soon as COVID-19 things sort of kind of goes away and we can have a meeting. So sort of kind of be on the lookout for that. Participate in club officer training. Well, a good leader always ensures that his officers know what the job is and what it entails, okay? Okay, be familiar with your club's constitution, and your club's bylaws. Most clubs use the standard form and bylaws, and then the LA2, okay, which is bylaws. You don't need to modify them, but you can if you want. Understand when you start to modify them, you might want to talk to LCI Legal or whoever to be sure that you're not deleting something that's mandatory. District constitution and bylaws, because our district has its own constitution and it has its own bylaws. Again, at least then you understand what it is that you're doing when you make some of the decisions that you make for the club. International Constitution and Bylaws, the LA1, that's LCI. That's one of those ones, if you're really not very sleepy, read it. I guarantee you'll get to sleep. Okay. So right after election, you want to get permission from the current club president. You want to, after you've been elected, so you've still got a time frame before you're the actual president. So you get together with the current president and get his or her permission to meet with the new incoming officers, okay? That's just a courtesy, okay? I mean, if he says, no, you can't do it, well, you can, all right? Because they're your officers. This is gonna be your administration. There's no reason why you can't meet with them. But like I said, it's just a courtesy thing for the current or the outgoing club president. Appoint your chairs and committee members so you know who's gonna do what and what's going on. Have everyone start in July 1st because that's when your administration starts, is July 1st. If replacing someone, talk to them. You know, if you haven't already, if there hasn't already been discussions, a lot of times there already is. So one of the things as president, you should have a general understanding of the duties of the secretary and the treasurer. Partly, if no other reason, then you understand what it is that their jobs are and that you know that they're doing the job correctly. So you want to meet to discuss record keeping and how they plan on doing it, financial member, minutes, committees, etc., reporting board of directors, club district LCI, signing authority for like checks, stuff like that, bonding, if that's what you're going to continue to do, okay? So those are the secretary's duties. Keeping the minutes specifically, you know, it's more than that. There's a lot of things that the secretary is going to get involved with, especially with my LCI and ensuring things are put in correctly. Again, what is in LCI, or my line, I should say, you're responsible for it. You're the president. So you need to be sure that the secretary is getting all of your service projects, your volunteer hours, you know, all that stuff is entered in there. So that LCI and the district know what it is that your club is doing. It's very frustrating from the district's point of view when they go into my LCI and they look at a specific club and there's no information, okay? They don't even know who the officers are because the PU 101 hadn't been put in yet, okay? Okay, treasurer's duties. Establish 2 accounts. We talked about that. Administration, that's Lions money. That's dues, money that's donated and things like that. That's used for administrative purposes. Mileage to pay somebody, or somebody's going somewhere or whatever. Fines, the 50/50, if you do that. Most people, I think, know what the 50/50 is, okay? Fines could be your tail twister, those types of things. Public money is all funds that are raised on fundraisers from the public. All this money has to go back to the public in one form or another. You know, that's your pancake breakfast, and those types of things that a lot of people have to help out. Some have scholarships. That's another way. It goes back to the public. It was raised from the public and is never used for administrative purposes. That's why there should be always 2 accounts. Budget. Okay, you should form a finance committee and have a budget. One of the things that you can do is, if you have a budget for all of those reoccurring projects that your club does every year, you can have one vote on the budget if that's how you want to proceed, either through the club or through the board of directors. Therefore, a committee understands what money they have already approved for whatever it is that the committee is going to do. Okay, resources. Working with officers and committees. The Lions Learning Center. There's all kinds of stuff in the Lions Learning Center for new officers, all of them specifically. And for presidents, there's a little slideshow with some good information and how to delegate for coaching and things like that, because you're basically going to be a coach. And in finances, Lions University courses 1, 2, 3. I highly recommend the USA Canada Forum. You sign into it and do the bachelor's degree. That's for new presidents. It's pretty extensive, very good information. I mean, I did mine my first year and I learned an awful lot. I strongly recommend it. When you have a meeting, you should always have an agenda. So for no other reason, you're not skipping around and just kind of hodgepodge everything. So you want to work with your secretary, your vice presidents, and your committee chairs so that you know what it is that you want to talk about. There's a way to go through everything in a logical manner. Review past meeting minutes. Okay. Partly you can wordsmith it with the secretary. That's what I always did with my secretary. We would go back through the minutes to write sure everything is correct. Send out the agenda prior to the meeting so everybody has a chance to get it. The secretary will do that for you. Always have copies of it at the meeting anyway, because some people say, well, I didn't get it, or I did get it, but I like to look at it on paper. I'm that way. I like to look at it on paper right along with the electronic version. This is your blueprint for productive and effective meetings, okay? If you have a good agenda, then you're going to do well. When do you want to start the next meeting's agenda? The answer to that one's real quick. As soon as this meeting is over, or during the meeting. Okay, if there's things that are tabled, things you want to discuss again, or whatever, then you want to start that agenda during that meeting so that you don't forget them, like I've done a couple times. Some more resources. LCI, Meeting Management course in the Lions Learning Center. And again, the Lions Learning Center has an awful lot of good information. Download, review the document time management techniques. Really kind of helps. Some of you probably already done things like this, but I have found every time I do this, I either remember something I had forgotten, or I learn a little bit more. Lions University Course 104, Effective Club Meetings. Again, that's the USA Canada Forum. That Course 104 is one of the mandatory ones you need to do to get your bachelor's from the Lions Club. Okay. Procedures, a body of rules followed by an assembly. Now that's a definition of a procedure. Okay. Call to order, kinds of motions, debate, voting, table, rescind, consider motions, recognize speakers. Okay, this is some of the Robert's Rules of Order stuff. You can use it, you cannot use it, but it makes for a really good general guideline. Okay, Robert's Rules of Order. And there's you go there, you can get the FAQs. Sometimes the FAQs are a lot easier to do than trying to read the entire book. Yep. Don't go to your meeting without the minutes of all previous meetings. Your secretary should have that, because somebody out there is going to ask a question, or they're going to say, didn't we discuss that 3 months ago or 4 meetings ago? Secretary should have the minutes of the past meetings so that they can go back and look. It really helps prevent a lot of other further discussion. Okay. Obviously, we talked about the agenda. You don't want to go to the meeting without the agenda. Officer and committee lists. You need to know who's doing what. Who's the committee chair, who's vice chair, and who the committee members are. You need to be prepared to handle any issues, good, bad, or indifferent. There's liable to be discussion across the table. You need to be able to know when to interrupt and say, okay, folks, time out, enough's enough. You know, we're getting into the weeds or whatever. And use a follow-up checklist and start working on your next agenda. We already talked about that. Okay. Some of the issues that you can handle, you may know right off in advance. Somebody may have called you and said, what about this and that and the other? And so you bring it up. You can add it to your agenda so you can remember to talk about it. I always did a president's thing, report to the club as to what I was doing, where I was going, and things like that. As the president or vice president resides over the meetings, there may be times when there's evil word, conflict arises. People may not like what you're doing, may not like, sorry, what somebody else has said. Ladies and gentlemen, those are things you're going to have to deal with as leaders, okay? Remember, the president or vice president is the standing authority and must understand how to manage these types of situations. Be prepared for it, okay? 99 chances out of 10, it's not going to happen. But the one time that it does, you need to be prepared or it'll catch you flat-footed. Learn how to manage group interaction. It's surprising how much discussion you can have in a meeting and you go off in non-all land. And all of a sudden, you're talking about painting the walls on the building, and all of a sudden now you're mowing the yards or you're paving the streets. And you're going, how in the heck did we get here when we were talking about what color are we going to paint the walls? Okay, keep everybody on track. Conflict resolution. There's a good one at the Lions Learning Center. Lions University 109. Just some good ideas. I'm not telling you what to do, but just thoughts, things to think about. Be familiar with the LCI dispute resolution guidelines for conflicts. You're going to find that in my line in the Learning Center. Let me back up here real quick. One of the things I'm not going to do is go through my Lion, okay, and show you the sign on and everything like that. I want you to figure it out, because when you figure it out, it means more to you than me showing you what to do. Get in there and play. Look at the different things that are there. Find out what's going on. Okay. I have found when you do that, you learn more, you retain more than sitting here watching me type on the computer on how to do something. Okay. Committees. Appoint standing or permanent, special, single use or limited time period committee chairs and members. Again, remember what I said. Find somebody that's interested in doing that. Okay. If you have, we do an Arbor Day thing here, and we have a lady that works in agriculture that likes to do that kind of stuff. But can you imagine somebody like myself, which does not have a green thumb, trying to be in charge of planting trees? I probably wouldn't do very well because I'm not a good tree planter. So be sure that the people that you have in the committees want to be there. Work with the vice presidents to select the chairs and members. You may have somebody in mind. Instead of letting them volunteer because you don't think they're going to, ask them. Don't be afraid to say, hey, Sam, would you like to do our Arbor Day thing for this year? Or would you like to do our parade this year? They probably go, well, I've thought about doing it, but sometimes they just don't want to volunteer. Assign vice presidents to oversee, assist, mentor, report. Not to take over a committee, to help the committees, okay? Match members' interests, skills, and knowledge to assignments. We talked about that. Bring in some new blood. Don't let the same people do the same thing year after year after year after year, okay? It's not that they don't want to, but if you don't ask the new members to participate, you're liable to lose them. So try to bring in some new blood. Provide job descriptions through old records, so at least the committee chairs know what it is they're supposed to do. Regular reporting to the committees, regular reporting to the club, okay? Communicate regularly with committee chairs, either in person or via the presidents. Oop, typed that one in wrong. I did this all right, okay? That keeps you in the loop, so you know what's going on, so that you are not blindsided when a committee is making their report saying, oh, by the way, we're getting ready for the Christmas stroll, and we, instead of spending 500, we spent 1,500 when they only had a budget of 500 for all the raffle gifts, okay? Watch what's going on. Aware of the progress, the problems, and achievements that your committees are doing. Keeps committees focused so they know they're going in the direction. Don't be a mother hen. Don't lord over them, but just watch them. As an ex officio, that'd be me, attend at least one meeting, okay? Ensure elections comply with Constitution and bylaws. If you don't, that one can get you into trouble faster than just about anything in the world. This year was really tough because we weren't allowed to have meetings. So we did things differently, either online, through Zoom or GoToMeeting or whatever. But most everybody is able to participate. Oversee elections or delegate, whichever you prefer. I mean, if you don't want to do that, then you have somebody else do it. Ensure the process is open and meets the deadlines. Review the standard club bylaws and constitution. So the bylaws is Article 3, sections 1 through 8. Whoops. That's in the LA2. That's the standard for clubs. Appoint a nominating committee for the election. Their job then is to go around and canvass the rest of the club to see who wants to be in what position. Technically, every position should be new every year. Now, a lot of clubs President is the same president. It's been that way for 10 years. Secretaries have always been secretaries. Treasurers have always been treasurers because nobody else wants to do the job. Well, talk to other people. Try to get other people involved. Sometimes a new person might come in and go, you know, I wouldn't mind being secretary, or I wouldn't mind being in the treasurer. Okay. Submit the slate of candidates to the club. Nominations from the floor are permissible. Hold the election, announce the results. After the election, the secretary submits the Lions Club officer report on MyCL LCI by May 15th. That's when it all has to be reported, because after May 15th, the district and LCI starts looking at to find out who's doing what, because LCI and the district are now going to start communicating on July 1st with the new administration. So within your club, you want to do some certain things. Have a club bulletin, have a club email, Facebook, web page, things where your club members and or maybe non-club members can go and see what your club is doing. Another way maybe to communicate with everybody through Facebook or Twitter or however you want to do it. District activities and newsletters. You're going to find that as administrator for your club, you're going to start getting the district activities and the district newsletters. You should pass them on to everybody, because they only send it to usually presidents, vice presidents, secretaries, and treasurers. That's something that I didn't do. I wish I did do, and I need to apologize to my club because I didn't do that. I would get it and read it, and I was deficient. So the more information you can give to your club, the more fun they might be having, because they know what's going on. LCI, LCIF activities, they may see that. Ensure committees report to the body and the club. That's the board of directors, is BOD. So publish the club and the board of directors minutes if you have a board of director. If you just have a club, then obviously you're going to publish the minutes. So outside your club, you want to establish who's going to respond to what. If you have 10 or 15 members all reporting to the newspaper or a local radio station, or the city council or the chamber of commerce, things get fouled up real quick when you've got too many people reporting about the same thing. Establish who will respond to what. Your secretary, your committee chair, your vice president, your president. Maybe you have a particular individual that is going to be your media person. All right. So everything that goes outside of the club, other than maybe the minutes or something like that, for general dissemination, excuse me, needs to go through your media person. They would be in charge of your web page if you have one. Be sure you're made aware of all requests for assistance. That would be, most of the clubs have sight and hearing of some form, whether it be eyeglasses or hearing aids, or working with District 37's Sight and Hearing Foundation. Somebody comes to you and says, I need cataract surgery, or I need hearing aids, and they can't afford it. There's a way to get that for them. So you need to be aware of any assistance that somebody from the outside needs. If they don't get a hold of you directly, they may get a hold of another member. That other member, you need to be sure that they bring it to your attention. Follow up with the responder, okay? Be sure that they know, the ones that brought it to you, that you're doing something about it. In my club, we've done one set of hearing aids. We've done quite a bit of glasses. And so it works. Appoint a good public relations chair. That's what I was saying earlier. Somebody that really knows what's going on. LCI website for sample press releases, public service announcements. There's a ton of information on the LCI website on how and what we do. Lions University course 110 in public relations. Okay, understand we serve. Who do we serve? We serve the public. Okay, and if we're serving the public in a way that they don't like, then we're not doing anybody any good. So public relations is one of our duties as a club, and the head of that club is you. Send articles and pictures to local news media. It means a lot. If for no other reason, the rest of the club members see it, okay? And they start feeling good about what it is that they do. Create a website or Facebook page and use it. eClubhouse, Twitter, Instagram, there's all kinds of different things out there that you can use, okay? So members look to the president, all right? In every organization, the person at the top is almost always looked at, okay? For leadership. You're the guide, you're the person, okay? This includes guidance, motivation and help, solving problems, it all comes with the badge of honor, folks, all right? So don't be surprised if somebody comes up and starts to data dump on you and what's going on. Just lend an ear, I guess, and bear with it. Build a shared vision among the club members. If the club members aren't all going in the same direction, well, you're not going anywhere. It's like a tug of war. You got half the club going one direction, the other half going the other direction, tied by a rope. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. Guide and encourage members toward reaching club goals and personal goals. Okay, who sets the club goals? Well, you do, in a way, through the club, because you know where the club is going and sort of kind of what they need to do. So you look at what the club has been doing in the past, and you sort of kind of get a vision of where you'd like the club to go in the future. And so let the club know where it is that you want to go. Personal goals, okay? My first couple of years as president of my club, my personal goals was to learn more about LCI and Lions. You know, we became Lions and we just sort of kind of did whatever the club was doing. And I decided to start learning more, especially after I became president, and started going to conventions and meetings, and I started learning an awful lot. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Provide leadership opportunities. Give people an opportunity to lead, okay, as committee chairs or whatever. Be aware of leadership training. The district has been trying to do leadership training for some time. Last one got canceled because of weather, because it was in Big Sky, got a huge snowstorm, and then COVID-19 hit. You know, you're going to find the district is still going to try to do leadership training. So be aware of that. Pass it on to your club. Encourage attendance at training. I mean, if somebody's interested, they're going to go. But at the same time, like I've said, I encourage all of you to go to convention. They have some training there. The simple fact that you're there, believe it or not, you get training. Develop a mentoring program so that the new people have somebody to look to help them through whatever. And who can that be? Every member has an important role to play. Nobody should be left out. Lead by example, okay? If you're always late to the meetings, well, why should everybody else show up on time, okay? Oops. So even in a mentoring program, some of your old folks that have done it for a while can be really good at it in helping you out. So your resources for their past presidents, officers, experienced Lions, guys that have been club members for 30 years. No, they know what's going on. Chances are they've been a president, a secretary, a treasurer. They've gone through it all. They have a really good past history. They know what's happening. Your GMT, GLT, global membership, that the district has a GMT member as a team to help clubs get new members. Leadership team, good people to talk to if you're having an issue, not sure what to do. Your zone and region chairs, again, more senior people usually have some good advice for you. District governors, vice district governors, past district governors, all of them. And you meet all of these people, believe it or not, at convention or district meetings of some kind. Get to know them. They really have good advice. Lions Learning Center course, developing leaders. Again, there's that bachelor's program. USA Canada Forum bachelor's program. I've said it numerous times, great place to go. Go to USA Canada Forum, log in, it's free, get your own account, and do the bachelor's. It's all there, it's all electronic. It's about an hour program per course. There is a test afterwards that you have to pass, but really some good information. So at the end of your time, you want to organize the records so that your incoming president or incoming whoever has the information from the past years and they know what's going on. Meet and transfer. So meet with the new officer. So set up a time with your incoming president, okay, to meet, turn everything over, and go, here you go, this is all yours. Have a great day. But this is something that you need to do. Discuss any transitional projects, things that were going on that you may want to pass on to the new president. Ensure proper communications for ongoing projects. Okay. Organize your Lions and others for hard work and dedication. Recognize. This is one of the things that I found that is the most fun as president, is recognizing the other Lions for what they've done. A Melvin Jones Fellowship or a progressive Melvin Jones Fellowship is something that LCI does through you, the president of the club. And this is not something that everybody gets. This is something for somebody that's done a lot of hard work and done a lot for the club. LCI contributing member pins. Something more than a new member or a 5-year or a 10-year longevity pins. Other things. If you go into my LCI, there's a whole thing, a whole pages of awards that you can give to your members for all kinds of different things. District awards. Submit your members for district awards, which is basically the same thing. Okay. Club awards. Longevity, thanks for your service. Just there's all kinds of things that you can do to recognize your club members. A lot of people will say, no, you don't need to do that. But I tell you, when you do it, most of the time they don't say no. Okay, so review of objectives. We talked about the duties of your position, how to plan your year, the leadership expectations, where to find resources, and how to enjoy your year. There's a whole lot more to this. We could spend, as I got into looking at this, I did not want to spend an hour and a half. I think after a certain amount of time, you lose everybody. So I tried to keep it down. I've left it at about 45 minutes. This is pretty cut and dried, but hopefully it gives you an area to start searching. Because what I find is when you start searching and looking and participating, you actually learn more than sitting there listening to me. Okay. So if there's any questions, I see there's 11 people. Either use the chat or unmute yourself, and we'll try not to all talk at the same time.
So this is Henry.
Henry,
Do you have like some successful ways, you had discussed about assigning roles or chair positions, committee positions. That always seems like one of the hardest things to do. And, so I maintain a spreadsheet of all of our committees. And at the beginning of each Lion year, it's like, okay, do you want to continue as chair for this, or who wants to volunteer? And it's like you say, first you ask for volunteers. Next step is, to try to assign, but a lot of times can't get that to stick either. People, are busy and they don't want to commit. Sometimes you can kind of twist people's arms. It's like you say, they find out that they like it. It works out well, but I do have a difficult time, it seems like, trying to get committee chairs filled. Any suggestions?
Henry, what I found is if you can do it heavy-handed, either you volunteer, I'm going to sign it, or you don't want to do that. But I ask for volunteers, and if I don't get volunteers, I have a general idea of who I would like. What I do is I get together with them one-on-one, not in front of the club, because a lot of people won't volunteer to do anything in front of the club. But privately, you can talk to them and say, Sam, I know you and your wife are really, really good at planting trees. I've seen your yard. Would you guys be really interested? Could I count on you to do our Arbor Day thing in trees this year? And they might go, well, okay, I will. Partly because you're talking to them in person and not as a whole group, because a lot of people are intimidated in a group. So I have found that one-on-one with somebody that you think would be good at it has worked for me. So give that a try.
Sounds good. Thanks.
You bet, Henry. Anybody else? Going? All right. I see 11 people here. I want to thank everybody for checking in tonight. I hope some of the information was good. Pretty kind of cut and dried, because there's a whole lot more. Like I say, I could spend hours going through some of this stuff that I learned, but I didn't want to bore everybody. So thank you for coming on tonight. Most of you can get a hold of me personally if you want to. I'm in the directory. I thought about putting it out here. I should have my contact information, but I know you can find it in the district directory. So it has my email, my phone. You can text me. Oh, here's a, hold on.
Al Castelman.
Oh, okay. The USA Canada, I didn't put the resource in here. You're right.
Is that on the Lions Club International?
Yeah,
right?
it's usacanadaforum.com.
Okay.
Or .org. I forgot to put that in here. Thank you so much for mentioning that. The bachelor's program is awesome. I learned an awful lot from it. I strongly recommend doing that. And then if you go to a USA Canada forum, you get a little certificate that says you got a bachelor's degree. So the anecdotal here is both of my daughters and my wife all have bachelor's degrees. Now, I graduated from high school and joined the Navy. So I got my bachelor's degree. So I took a picture of the certificate and I sent it, I texted it to both of my kids and showed it to my wife. I said, well, so naughty, naughty, naughty. I now have my bachelor's degree. Now, that's not a degree that you can go and get, it's not a college degree, but it's a bachelor's degree. So, and
Hey, Mike.
it's lionsuniversity.org. The Constitution you're going to find in My Lion, my LCI. Oh, read the stupid question, Michael. Mike Hollins, I know you can hear me. The district constitution. Where could somebody find the district constitution?
They can find it on the Montana Lions website, which,
It would be our district website, right?
let me get you an address. So it's called montanalions.org.
MontanaLions.org. So that's the district's website. You'll find its constitution there. Good question, Nancy.
So I have to admit that I'm somewhat ignorant on the whole bachelor program. Are the degrees, if you will, are they set up by officer?
Well, the bachelor's program is for presidents.
Okay, so it's
The-
specific to that office.
Yes. The master's is set up for district. And then you can get a doctorate, which is more LCI, international type of stuff.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
There is separate training for secretaries and treasurers and things like that, specifically in the Lions University at USA Canada Forum, that your other officers can take. As a president, I strongly recommend that you have them go do that. Go take a look at it. It's got some good information. You start to learn what it is that Lions is all about, for one, and how best to do your job as a Lion, not necessarily as a business manager or, I've been a CEO in a company, and so now I'm going to be president. It's the same thing. Yeah, it is, but it isn't. It's a lot lower keyed, but it's specific to Lionism. Okay, and so it really helps. It helped me understand Lionism and what it's all about, so that I could try to make my club a lot more productive and a lot more the way Lions would like us to be, which I think has happened. So that's just my take on things.
Mhm. Earlier in the year, before the whole virus thing went haywire, there was a plan for leadership and officer training. And now, you're doing a president training thing. Does this mean that there might be vice president training, secretary training, treasurer training in this same kind of format upcoming, or?
Well, we had treasurer training last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Next week, next Thursday at 7 o'clock is secretary training, and my wife is going to be doing it. So that was going to be pretty intense. You're going to spend time at my LCI. She's going to show you how to enter things and look at things. I didn't want to go there because I would literally spend an hour just in LCI. That was not my objective. And I have found in my years that a lot of times if you go in and look to start playing, you click on this, you click on that, you look into here, and you go on, oh, wow, look at this, as opposed to, oh, okay, I know how to do it, and then nothing happens. So,
right.
That's why I say, go look and go in and play.
And so those training invites have gone out to those specific officers, and most likely I haven't seen those come out, and it's probably because they were sent directly to the treasurers of all the clubs and the
Yes.
So we have one kind of bizarre situation, one kind of sad situation. Our secretary, who we've had for, probably he's been our secretary for at least 8 to 10 years, passed away suddenly yesterday.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, lead into it at all. Healthy as an ox, and then just got something and passed away. Could I have one of you guys forward me the invite for the secretary training so that either, I could sit in on it, or if we can scramble a temporary or new candidate for secretary in time.
Henry, what club are you in?
I'm in the Fort Benton Lion Club.
We will get that to you.
That would be awesome. Yeah, thank you guys much. And
Are
thanks
you-
very much for setting all this up. This has been
Is
wonderful.
your information in the hand or the district? I'm having a brain fart. The what?
It's,
directory. Yeah. Is your information in the directory?
yes, yep, it is.
We will. Matter of fact, my wife is probably looking you up now.
Great. All right. Very good. Thank you.
And when did you say that training is going to happen for the secretary treasurer?
Next Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
bet.
I was recently asked to fill in for next year as secretary treasurer when we lost somebody who couldn't do it. So I'm kind of scrambling as well.
Sure. I will tell you that the new reporting and stuff like that is little different to understand. And Peg struggled with it for a little while, but she's played with it so much lately that she pretty much has it down pat. And so she's also a zone chair. So she's been working with the Zone 8 people. But the district has asked her to do this, and she's been more than happy to. So, yeah, you're going to have to really take some good notes next Thursday for the secretary training, but she's going to go through an awful lot.
And so
that you'll be able to understand.
Who should I contact to get an invite for that?
Okay, Marlene, what club are you in?
I'm in Gallatin Empire Lions Club in Bozeman.
Which club again?
Gallatin Empire
Okay,
Lions.
okay. Is your information in the directory?
I haven't even seen the directory. I know we only have a couple of copies. But Dean Parsons is our current president, and he's kind of been spearheading getting all this together for us.
Okay. Marlene, you got a paper and pencil?
I do.
Okay. Do you text?
I do.
Text your information to 406-461-4206. That's my wife.
And what's her name?
That's 406-461-4206. That's my wife. She'll get your text and she will get you the invite.
Okay, and what is her name?
Peggy,
Peggy? Thank
Yep.
you.
you betcha. Yeah,
I just sent Henry and Dean Parsons the link for the invite.
okay. Nancy, do you need the invite? Nancy Linnell, are you still there?
Yeah, I don't have her email, but I did have Dean's.
Okay, well, I can get Nancy. She's the
So,
president.
What do you want from, I wouldn't necessarily go to one on the secretary and
Oh,
treasurer,
okay, all right. I just thought
but I
I
don't, and I'm assuming Chris will tell
Tasha.
Tasha to do the secretary,
Yeah.
and Peggy's going to do the treasurer, so
Well,
you're
Yeah.
kind of singing to the choir.
Yep, not
So
a problem. I just thought I recognized your voice, Nancy. I'm sorry.
just so
I-
everybody knows that we've already had the treasurer training.
Yep.
It was recorded and we will be posting it on the Montana Lions website so you can view it.
Did you get that, Chris? Chris Blair, did you get that? He must be muted.
Yeah.
I can hear you, but I didn't hear all of it. Some of the video kind of goes in and out for me.
Did Tasha get the invite for secretary?
No, treasurer
Yeah,
or secretary, yeah.
yeah, she is. She's actually sitting here. I'm talking to her right now about it.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, well, that being said, I want to thank everybody. We had 11 people on tonight, which is awesome. That's more than I expected, to be honest with you. I hope it did some good. This was recorded and it will be on the district's website. So you can go back and listen to me again if you want to. It really puts you to sleep. All right,
So
folks.
what-
Yeah,
Mike, what's the district website then?
that was the Montana.
Okay, the Montana one.
Yeah,
And then it breaks off into the different districts, or is whole
No.
Montana one district?
it's just Montana's one district. It's District
Okay,
37.
sorry. I didn't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, Montana is its own district. We have 14 zones. Okie dokie.
Thank you.
All righty. Folks, thanks for coming on tonight. This will, I will close this out.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mike.
much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You bet.